Look at this room full of maquettes inside of Big's New York studio. It's an array of what seems like an infinite amount of design proposals, ideas, projects, intentions in a scaled-down version. Some projects you can recognize and others you've never even heard of. Now look at these maquettes in another part of their studio. A scaled version of the final design proposals of different projects around the world. Everywhere you look, it's a collection of design iterations, presentation boards, renders, projects from days past, and others just taking flight. This isn't just an office, it's an evolving canvas of architectural innovation. Now, is this normal in all architecture studios? What is it about this studio, their process, and their people that makes their work connect so much with everyone in general? So let me just back up a moment to give you some context. So let's rewind a couple of weeks ago. Oliver and I found ourselves in New York City, our journey paved with culinary delights and the unique chance to get an up-close look at Big's New York studio. For most architects, Bjarke Ingels and the Big Studio is probably one of the most successful groups of architects in the world. They have achieved astronomical recognition in a very short period of time, and it seems that their projects and proposals are everywhere. Some attribute to the founder and lead architect Bjarke Ingels with his charisma and way of telling stories through his projects.
If you could actually sort of invent
from the mind to the hands to the paper, the way we start looking for what could be the connectivity between
but others attribute it to their crazy design ideas and innovation. Big doesn't shy away from pushing boundaries like designing a ski slope atop a waste plant, the reinvention of the New York skyscraper, conceptualizing life on Mars, etc. These are more than just buildings, they're thought experiments made concrete. Now, although these ideas seem to come from inside the dreams of someone like Bjarke Ingels, the real process is not quite like this at all. Let me explain.
It doesn't really matter who comes up with a good idea. It's really about just making sure everybody feel comfortable contributing.
So this is Daniel Sundlin, architect and partner at Big offices in New York. He has been at Big since 2008 and has worked on the office's most prominent projects. We had the chance to talk to him and ask him some questions about Big, working at the office, and some curious topics as well.
And I will say, we're not kind of napkin architects. We love to involve people, we involve our clients, we share everything, sometimes too much.
From the start of his career, the studio has constantly shown diagrams, process images, and design iterations as part of their presentation. They have been so interested in the process and showing it in their final stages of design that we can even recognize a big diagram from afar. A series of diagrams that show the operations, constraints, and processes that occur throughout the project.
And then the kind of middle third, if you will, is about iterating and basically exhaust opportunities. Essentially trying out every single way of doing a certain project. So we iterate a lot, and all the physical models that you see in the background is a product of that iteration process. For a project, we can do up to, we can almost do like 100 different design iterations. And we discuss these different iterations. In that process, it's so important that you have a kind of a variety of people contributing to that conversation.
100 design iterations, 100 maquettes, 100 ideas to just get one right. When we were walking through their office space, we really felt that these 100 design iterations are taken very seriously. It's like walking inside the head of a group of creative people and seeing their thought process. However, there is a problem with this process, at least from the perspective of traditional architecture offices. You see, many traditional architecture offices are structured in a way where everything is done by clearly defined teams that work on specific parts of a project, meaning that an individual or a team creates an idea, then passes it on to another team that develops it, and that team then passes it on to another team that ensures its construction. Obviously, this is a very simplified version of it, but you get the idea. Now, this doesn't mean that other offices don't create iterations or different versions of the design. What it does mean is that the people involved in the initial stages are not always the people that are overlooking the final stages of the design. And while this process may appear systematic and sensible, it poses a key issue for architects involved in the project. Architects who remain confined into a single role in the design process risk overlooking other stages, and as a result may struggle to comprehend them. And that is where Big is rather different.
Usually we like to see people follow through, and I think that's how you really learn how to become a better architect, kind of understanding the journey from design to construction. I mean, I used to talk about Big big as a platform rather than kind of we don't have studios, for example. We don't have like certain departments, and a lot of people move around between different roles here in the office. And understanding how the ideas or kind of decisions that you make early on in the process affect the actual construction of buildings. And I do think like nowadays the architecture industry is so like there's so many different roles that you can have as an architect. Often you have some, you're discovering a lot of things that you're interested in throughout your career. And we're always trying to help people to kind of navigate them to the role that they want to have and the career that they want to have.
Now, there is another crucial factor to consider regarding this issue, which extends beyond the number of design iterations or the team responsible for each project. It is equally important to consider where the design is conceived. The cultural and physical environment is a significant determinant in achieving the best possible outcome for each building project.
As you can see, the office is very open. We share a lot, so a lot of people kind of find ways to hang out in different ways, and we always encourage people to bring their ideas to the table.
If there is a metaphor or analogy for the notion that your workspace reflects your work, then this is where it fits perfectly. The space where the team generates their ideas feels creative, innovative, and unique, just like their buildings. Big is for sure one of the most important architecture offices at the moment, and has built some projects that will maybe be object of study in many architecture schools in the future or at the moment. Perhaps some of the keys to their constant success is their design approach, how they iterate for each design, exhaust each possibility until they are sure that the design is the right one for their client. Also, the team structure in which each individual can see themselves following through the process from start to finish, therefore comprehending the entirety of the architectural process. And finally, the office space, a space full of ideas, spaces to collaborate, see past projects, get inspired, and create new buildings. Now, I'm sure you have a lot of unanswered questions like, what program does Big use? What is their take on AI? How do they implement new software? Well, all of these answers you will find here in Oliver's video just upstairs. Let me know what you thought of this experience, and if you would like to see more office tours, also comment down below. We would love to visit maybe your office and record the experience. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.